Alright, what's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. Their coaching change in the past 24 hours, not even. They have fired Adrian Griffin, hired Doc Rivers to talk all about what this means for this team here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications and all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. As I'm recording this, we're currently at 483. We are very, very, very close to hitting that 500. So if you do like the content, hit the subscribe button. It means a whole lot to me. Link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So yesterday afternoon, randomly out of thin air, we got the Terry Rozier trade earlier. We got Tristan Thompson getting suspended, and then all of a sudden, Woj says, was it Woj? I don't remember if Woj was the first one to tweet. It might have been. The Bucks fire Adrian Griffin. And then that just sent a shock throughout, I feel like, the NBA world at that point. Just like, what? Adrian Griffin got fired 42 games into the season in his coaching career, and he gets fired on a team that is number 2 in the Eastern Conference. And then after that, there was reports saying that Doc Rivers was a leading candidate. And then reports going out about them contacting him. And then last night, or I forgot if it was last night or this morning, officially it was named, all right, Doc Rivers is the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks now. So in like not even 24 hours, the Bucks have changed coaches, which is insane. And yeah, so there's been a lot of talk about the Bucks season. Obviously, the Bucks championship aspirations. I mean, this team has Giannis, Damian Lillard. They made the big move for him. They still have a really good championship contender level team. And so far, just looking at the record, they're 30-13. They're second in the Eastern Conference. It looks like it hasn't been a problem on paper, at least. Giannis is having another MVP type season. Dame's having a really good year. Bucks are winning games, but when you really look at what's going on in the court and all this stuff, it just doesn't feel like, and we've said it a lot, I've said it a lot, I know a lot of people think it, but they haven't been the contender. This isn't the team we expected it to be. This isn't the dominant Bucks team, contender team that we were like, oh shoot, here come the Bucks. They've been winning games still because they have talented players, but it hasn't looked, very like we expected to. It hasn't looked great, particularly on the defensive end as well. Obviously, there's been big concern there. Right now, they have the 21st defense in the NBA, and when you have a team like this, a team that wants to win a championship, 21st defense doesn't cut it at all. And even watching on the court, you could tell, like, oh man, this perimeter defense, man, is getting locked. Damian Lillard and Malik Beasley are getting walked by on the defensive end. And good thing is they make it up offensively because they have the second best offense. They have Giannis and Dame, and when you have those two on the court, I've said it multiple times, but when you have those two on the court, you're gonna have a chance to win every game just because it's Giannis and Dame. They're two, are probably top 10, top 15 at least players in the NBA. And so the Bucks, yeah, they have not looked a part of a championship contender team. They've had some spots where it's like, okay, I'm kind of concerned. There's been a lot of concerns about this Milwaukee Bucks team, and Adrian Griffin was kind of a part of it. First time head coach, stepping in, and it's hard. It's tough for Adrian Griffin. I mean, your first time coming in as a head coach in the NBA, you're taking on a team with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard and are trying to win an NBA championship. That's very, very hard. But I think I said it in my power ranking video. I forgot. I said it in one video where I was like, I don't know if Adrian Griffin's the guy. I didn't mean to fire him this year, but I thought they were gonna give him a little bit of time. But I definitely kind of felt like Adrian Griffin wasn't giving me anything yet. Adrian Griffin wasn't proving to me that he was the right head coach for a team like this. And it's hard looking back at it now. It's like, yeah, he might not have been the right hire. Because, I mean, again, first time head coach coming in and coaching a team with Giannis, Brooke, Chris Middleton, and now Damian Lillard. You have to acclimate him into a new team, a new system after he's been in Portland for so long. And you have this personnel, and it's like a rookie head coach that's never been in the situation, in the hot seat. Like, he was kind of failed from the start, I want to say. Like, from the start, you should have seen, yeah, something was going to go wrong. Now, I didn't expect fire in 42 games, 43 games type of thing. I don't mean that. But I just mean, like, maybe he wasn't the right coach from the start, and now we're seeing it, diving more into the split, apparently he lost the locker room. I know. Throughout the year, there's been some things talked about, even on broadcasts and stuff about the Bucks players having to go up to Adrian Griffin and being like, hey, we should run, we got to do it like this. And Adrian Griffin's like, okay, do it. But apparently, yeah, there's, in the past few days, some management, GMs and stuff like that were observing on the practices because I guess they were hearing stuff in the locker room and seeing how kind of the players were looking. And they wanted to check up on it and see, like, hey, what's going on. And apparently, yeah, Adrian Griffin just lost the locker room, you know? Yeah, in the article that was put out after the Adrian Griffin firing, I'll read some of it. The defense took a dip, and while the offense has been stellar at times, it lacked fluidity and consistency. Players privately complained about their roles, touches, chemistry, and constantly questioned the schemes on both sides of the ball. Griffin attempted to draw the core players closer by having an airing out session. After the loss to the Indiana Pacers in the in-season tournament, Griffin called a meeting with Antetokounmpo, Lillard, Middleton, and Lopez, sources say. All four spoke on what was working, what wasn't working, and how they could best be utilized. Griffin was stern in telling the players that sacrifice was required, sources say. He pointed out how some of their teammates would frequently be open when Antetokounmpo and Lillard would drive to the basket, and he called them out for not bringing defensive intensity on a nightly basis. It was an airing out session the players appreciated. Milwaukee ended winning its next 7 games, but something still wasn't right. The convincing wins were not there, and the bickering in the locker room continued. So, yeah. So, basically, that players were kind of like not happy with how Adrian Griffin was running things, and so Adrian Griffin called a meeting and was like, "Hey, I know you guys aren't happy, but also you guys need to sacrifice. You guys need to do this. You guys need to be more intense and all this stuff like that." Basically, calling everybody. They both called each other out. They ended up winning, but it still didn't feel right, and so the Bucks front office saw them. The Bucks were like, "Yeah, this isn't gonna work," you know, and that's very interesting that the Bucks front office kind of heard about it, and the Bucks front office did something quick. They didn't wait for like maybe they could turn around. Maybe they just need a good stretch, and then it could happen because they had the good stretch. They went on a 7-game win streak, but apparently problems weren't solved. They were winning, but it didn't really solve anything. And so the front office is like, dang, if they can't win, if they won 7 in a row and they can't really solve this, then I don't think we're gonna be able to do it. Which is very interesting. The Bucks front office quickly went in 43 games in, and we're like, yeah, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna cut it. Sorry, Adrian Griffin, but goodbye. Very, very interesting stuff. That's funny because we saw a clip also the other day of Giannis drawing up things on the play. And there's definitely now that they say it and now it's out, it definitely has felt kind of away. Like, there's definitely been some times in watching Bucks games and stuff where it's definitely like Giannis isn't really, not saying listening to Adrian Griffin, but definitely there's some, like, it's weird. It's kind of weird with Milwaukee. Like, some of the chemistry and stuff like that is kind of, like, off a little bit, like with the coach and with Giannis and with all of them. Like, if you go back and watch, there's definitely been a few things here and there. It's not always present, but you could definitely tell there's something weird around this Milwaukee Bucks team, And so now Doc Rivers comes in right off the commentating booth, and all of a sudden he's coming to coach. And actually, the Bucks play tonight. They play the Cavs tonight, and they just lost by 40 the other week to them. So is Doc Rivers coming tonight? I don't know. But yeah, there's a very quick turnaround in a season where the Bucks are trying to win a championship. It's not like they're a tanking team and it's like they can just fire their coach, come in. Like, this is a team that wants to win an NBA championship, clearly. This is a team that is dang near basically championship or bust right now. And you're bringing in a new coach halfway through the season. We already played 43 games, already have this team, and now you're bringing in a whole new head coach. That's very bold of the Milwaukee Bucks to do. But I guess, they believe. This show is just like, hey, we have belief in this team that, this isn't the right guy. We need a new guy. Bring him in. And we think Doc Rivers can be the guy. Now, can Doc Rivers be the guy? We don't know. We've seen the last few years. He hasn't had the best playoff success with some really good teams, with the LA Clippers, multiple times with the Philadelphia 76ers the last few years. And now he gets to go to Milwaukee. And, yeah, we're going to see. I'm very, very interested to see how Doc Rivers does and what he does here. Because the defense is still, I don't know how he can really change so many things over there. Maybe it's more of like leadership and locker room stuff, which I think probably is a big part of why the Bucks kind of look weird, because of their locker room stuff and the chemistry issues. So maybe they want to, because on the report that the Bucks, after Adrian Griffin got fired and Doc Rivers is one of the leading candidates, they said like they wanted a veteran, accomplished kind of head coach. So I guess they want like a leader, a guy that has been there before, knows how to lead a team, and maybe can bring the chemistry and stuff back together for this team, which Doc Rivers possibly could do, But yeah, it's very shocking to see that all of that 43 games into the season, the Bucks fire their head coach when they're second in the Eastern Conference, 30-13, and they said no, it's not going to cut it because of locker room tension and all stuff like that. Which again, I appreciate the Bucks for doing, I guess, because they're kind of like, all right, this isn't working, get rid of him. We need a new guy in here because after we went on a 7-game win streak and things still aren't getting better, then I don't know if it's ever going to get better, you know. And yeah, Adrian Griffin now for the rest of his career, he probably will find his way on another coaching staff at some point. But yeah, it's just very tough that he kind of got dealt a bad hand from the start a little bit, and it got worse and worse and worse and worse. And now Doc Rivers is in here and trying to fix his Bucks team. Does his Bucks team get better with Doc Rivers? I'm not very sure. Again, there aren't really any. A lot of their defensive issues are personnel based, like player based. Like Damian Lillard and Malik Beasley are not defenders. You know, Campaign is not a defender. You know, and so is Doc Rivers gonna come in and all of a sudden Damian Lillard and Malik Beasley are gonna be locking up? I don't think so. You know, and it's not like they can make any moves because they traded a lot of their assets to get guys like Damian Lillard and Jay Crowder and them. I saw reports saying that they're trying to dangle a package of Pat Connaughton and Cameron Payne to get something. Good luck with that. I don't know who wants that. Those Cameron Payne and Pat Connaughton. I have no idea what's gonna happen with that. But yeah, the Bucks are going through. The Bucks are going through a lot right now. Bucks are going through a lot right now, and now, you know, we'll see what happens with this Bucks team. Interested to see if Doc Rivers is there tonight against Cleveland. Interested to see how this team looks now. Maybe it's just a refresh and a new locker room, and Giannis and Dame are excited now, and you know they bring more intensity and stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know, but is this the right move for the Milwaukee Bucks? I guess only time will tell. Only time will tell. Right now, I'm leaning towards being a fan of this move, especially if they saw that the tension in the locker room and stuff was just kind of off. You know, in a championship contending team, you cannot have that. You know, so especially if the tension was off and they feel like Doc Rivers is the guy that can come in and bring the chemistry back together, then yeah, I'm a fan of this move. But again, this is one of those things where only time will tell. You know, maybe Doc Rivers, maybe they play better under Doc Rivers. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.